Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. Lads, this one has come out of absolutely nowhere, and it's shaking the corridors around Celtic FC. The whispers are getting louder, the dressing room talk is supposedly tense, and the name on everybody's lips is Rio HATATE. According to murmurs drifting through the grapevine, HATATE has flatly refused to line up alongside Daisen Maeda ever again. Aye, you heard that right. The same Maeda who's known for his relentless pressing, his darting runs down the left, and that never-say-die energy that fires up the crowd. On the surface, the two Japanese stars seem to share chemistry, culture, and connection. But insiders are hinting that something behind the scenes has fractured that partnership in a way nobody saw coming. This isn't being announced officially, of course, and there's been no statement from the club, but the rumor mill is in absolute overdrive, and supporters are starting to piece together moments from recent matches that now feel different. Now, before we all jump to conclusions, let's break down what's being suggested. Sources close to the training ground are claiming that HATATE has grown frustrated with the tactical demands placed on him when Maeda starts on the wing. The idea floating about is that Maeda's high-intensity pressing forces HATATE into covering deeper spaces, limiting his attacking freedom. Some are even suggesting that HATATE feels his own performances have been overshadowed by Maeda's tireless work rate. It's a fascinating dynamic, because from the stands, you'd think the partnership had potential to flourish long-term. They both arrived with massive expectations, both representing that modern, dynamic Japanese footballing identity. Yet now, speculation paints a picture of simmering tension, perhaps even a clash of personalities. And in a dressing room chasing dominance, even small cracks can grow rapidly if not handled carefully and quietly behind closed doors. What makes this rumor even more explosive is the cultural angle. Two Japanese internationals at a historic Scottish club, both carrying the hopes of fans back home, now allegedly at odds. That's the sort of storyline that grips headlines and fuels debate shows for weeks. There are whispers that communication hasn't broken down personally, but professionally. That's a key distinction. It's not about friendship, some say, but about footballing philosophy. HATATE reportedly believes he operates best in a fluid, possession-heavy setup where movement is controlled and calculated. Maeda, on the other hand, thrives in chaos, pressing defenders into mistakes and turning scrappy moments into opportunities. When those styles clash, it can create internal friction. And if HATATE truly has refused to share the pitch, that signals something deeper than tactical disagreement. It suggests a breaking point, a line drawn in the sand that forces management to make a serious decision. Fans have started revisiting past matches, analyzing body language, missed passes, moments where one didn't look for the other. Social media is full of slowed-down clips, conspiracy threads, and heated arguments. Some supporters are defending Maeda, praising his commitment and relentless engine. Others insist HATATE is the more technically gifted player, deserving of a system built around him. The narrative is splitting the fanbase, even though nothing official has been confirmed. That's the power of speculation in modern football. A single whisper can spiral into a full-blown saga overnight. And let's be honest, clubs rarely admit internal disputes unless they absolutely have to. If this is being kept quiet, it might be because the hierarchy hopes to smooth things over before it explodes publicly. But once supporters sense tension, it becomes very difficult to contain. There's also talk that training sessions have grown increasingly competitive between the two. Not necessarily hostile, but intense to the point where coaching staff have had to step in more than once. Competitive fire can be healthy, of course. It can push standards higher and sharpen performances. But when pride gets involved, especially among elite athletes who want to lead rather than follow, that fire can burn hotter than intended. HATATE, rumor suggests, wants a more central leadership role within the squad. Maeda, with his work rate and fan adoration, commands attention in his own way. Two ambitious professionals striving for influence in the same attacking unit can create subtle rivalry. And in a title-chasing environment, Even subtle rivalries can have enormous consequences if egos are bruised or ambitions feel threatened. The biggest question hanging over all of this is how the manager reacts if there's truth behind the whispers. Dropping one of them could send a powerful message. Forcing them to coexist might risk performances dipping further. Selling one would ignite even bigger headlines. At this stage, it's all smoke and no confirmed fire, but the smoke is thick enough to make supporters nervous. Celtic's season ambitions depend on unity, rhythm, and trust. If HATATE truly refuses to play alongside Maeda, that unity faces a serious test. And until we hear something concrete, the rumor will keep growing legs, spreading from Glasgow to Japan and beyond, turning what once looked like a promising partnership into one of the most intriguing dressing room mysteries of the season. Let's dive deeper into what could be fueling this alleged standoff. Because in football, things are rarely as simple as personality clashes. Some insiders are hinting that contract situations might be playing a silent role. When one player feels undervalued compared to another, especially if wage structures or extension talks differ, resentment can quietly build. If HATATE believes his contribution in midfield isn't being rewarded in the same way Maeda's visibility on the wing is, that could spark frustration. It doesn't need to be dramatic shouting matches behind closed doors. Sometimes it's subtle glances, shorter conversations, or a growing emotional distance. And when rumors of refusal to play together surface, they often stem from months of small, unresolved tensions rather than one explosive incident that suddenly changes everything. Another layer to this unfolding speculation involves tactical evolution within the squad. Managers tweak systems constantly, and when formations shift, certain players benefit while others sacrifice. If the shape prioritizes wide pressing and rapid transitions, Maeda's strengths shine brightly. If the approach leans toward intricate midfield interplay, HATATE becomes central to everything creative. The balance between those philosophies can be delicate. Should HATATE feel the current direction favors Maeda's attributes at the expense of his own freedom, it might explain the reported frustration. It's not about dislike, it's about identity on the pitch. Professional footballers at that level are fiercely protective of their roles. If you sense your influence shrinking, even slightly, it can feel like a threat to your standing within the squad and among supporters. There's also external pressure to consider. Japanese media reportedly keep a close eye on both players, often framing them as ambassadors of their nation's footballing rise. Constant comparison and headlines back home could unintentionally heighten rivalry. If every strong performance by Maeda is measured against HATATE's display, and vice versa, that competitive narrative might seep into their subconscious. Neither player would publicly admit it, but athletes absorb these narratives. They read articles, they see clips shared online, they understand the storylines forming around them. When those storylines suggest one is outperforming or outshining the other, pride naturally reacts. In that environment, a rumor about refusing to play together feels less shocking and more like the culmination of mounting psychological pressure that's been simmering quietly. From the supporter's perspective, this potential fracture is deeply unsettling because both players represent a modern, energetic era for the club. They symbolize smart recruitment, international reach, and fearless ambition. The idea that such pillars could be misaligned creates anxiety about the bigger picture. Could this impact transfer strategy? Could one push for a move away? Football history is full of talented duos who simply couldn't coexist despite obvious quality. Sometimes it's about space, sometimes about status, sometimes about recognition. And when whispers grow loud enough, they can influence decisions even if the original issue was manageable. Clubs often act preemptively to prevent dressing room instability from escalating, especially when chasing domestic and continental objectives. What fascinates me most about this rumor is how divided opinion has already become. Some fans dismiss it entirely, insisting the chemistry still exists and that body language interpretations are exaggerated. Others claim they sensed tension weeks ago, pointing to moments where passes weren't made or celebrations felt muted. The truth likely sits somewhere in between. Football is emotional, intense, and layered with complexities we rarely see from the stands. A refusal to play together would be drastic, almost unthinkable without serious provocation. Yet the mere possibility keeps everyone talking. Silence from official channels only fuels curiosity further, allowing imaginations to fill gaps with dramatic scenarios that may or may not reflect reality. Until concrete information surfaces, we're left navigating speculation, analyzing patterns, and debating hypotheticals. If HATATE truly has drawn a line and declared he won't share the pitch with Maeda, it forces a crossroads moment within the squad. Reconciliation would require honest dialogue and tactical compromise. Separation would signal a bold, perhaps ruthless decision by leadership. For now, it remains a rumor swirling through Glasgow's football circles, gaining momentum with every passing conversation. And whether it fades quietly or erupts into confirmed drama, one thing is certain. The spotlight on these two Japanese stars has never burned brighter, and every future team sheet will be scrutinized like never before. And as this rumor refuses to die down, you can almost feel the tension building every time the squad list is about to be announced. Supporters are refreshing social media, scanning training photos, zooming into background details to see whether Ryo HATATE and Daisen Maeda are standing near each other or deliberately apart. That's how deep this speculation has burrowed into the fan psyche. It's no longer just about tactics or formations, it's about symbolism. If one starts and the other sits, people will read into it. If both start but operate on opposite sides without combining, people will dissect it. And if one is suddenly missing from the squad entirely, the rumor will explode into something far louder than a whisper. At a club as emotionally charged as Celtic FC, narratives grow quickly, and once the crowd senses a storyline, it becomes part of the atmosphere inside the stadium itself. There's also the possibility that this entire saga stems from a misunderstanding that spiraled beyond control. Football dressing rooms are intense environments, full of strong personalities and fierce competitors. A single heated exchange during training, a frustrated gesture after a misplaced pass, or a disagreement over positioning could easily snowball once outsiders catch wind of it. When you add language nuances and cultural expectations into the mix, even small frustrations can be interpreted differently. It doesn't mean there's personal animosity. It might simply mean two elite professionals are demanding the highest standards from each other. But when whispers leak, they rarely come with full context. They arrive stripped of detail, amplified by assumption, and shaped into dramatic headlines that may not fully reflect what's actually happening behind closed doors. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Another angle being floated quietly is the influence of agents and external advisors. Modern football isn't just about what happens on the pitch. Representatives often have their own visions for a player's trajectory, brand positioning, and long-term ambitions. If HATATE's camp believes his development would flourish in a system less dependent on Maeda's direct style, that could subtly shape conversations. It doesn't require open conflict. It only takes a shift in tone during contract talks or future planning discussions. Suddenly, a narrative forms that one player's path might be clearer without the other occupying a similar spotlight. These dynamics can be incredibly delicate. Clubs try to maintain harmony, but when individual aspirations intersect with collective goals, friction can emerge even without hostile intent. What makes this story so gripping is that both players are immensely talented in different ways. Maeda's relentless running stretches defenses and energizes the crowd, while HATATE's technical vision and composure in midfield provide structure and creativity. On paper, those qualities should complement each other beautifully. That's why the rumor feels so dramatic. It challenges the idea that talent alone guarantees harmony. Football history teaches us that chemistry is unpredictable. Two brilliant players can elevate each other or unintentionally cancel each other out, depending on mindset, confidence, and tactical alignment. If HATATE truly feels constrained by the current setup, his alleged refusal might not be about Maeda as a person, but about reclaiming a version of himself he believes is being diluted. For now, everything hangs in the balance. No official confirmation, no outright denial, just a cloud of speculation hovering above the squad. The next stretch of fixtures will be scrutinized more intensely than ever. Every substitution, every sideline interaction, every shared celebration will be examined for clues. If the partnership continues without visible issue, the rumor may gradually lose momentum. But if signs of distance persist, this could evolve into one of the defining internal stories of the season. In football, perception can shape reality almost as strongly as fact. And right now, the perception surrounding HATATE and Maeda is charged with intrigue, uncertainty, and just enough mystery to keep the entire support holding its breath. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.